For almost 50 years, Voyager 2 has been drifting through the vast darkness of space. Once hailed as a triumph of human curiosity, many came to see it as little more than a relic, a silent vessel fading into history. That perception changed the moment it crossed the farthest boundary of the solar system. Suddenly, it was no longer sending just scientific data. Embedded in its transmissions was something else. A pulse. A pattern. Too precise to be random. And then, silence. What Voyager 2 encountered at the edge of our star's influence was not a gradual shift in radiation or magnetic pressure. It was abrupt, sharp, like stepping across a threshold that had been deliberately placed. A gate. A border. Proof that the universe is not just a void, but structured. The probe was never expected to survive this long. Designed for a mission of just 5 years, it has endured nearly half a century in the freezing vacuum of space. Against radiation, dust, and endless silence, it endured. Yet in 2023, after crossing the heliopause, the supposed outermost shell of the Sun's reach, Voyager 2 detected something that defied expectation. Plasma densities spiked suddenly, not gradually. Cosmic rays surged by more than 70%, as if a wall had been breached. And in the background, a faint repeating transmission emerged. Low frequency, rhythmic, patterned. Too clean to dismiss. Almost like a signal, a handshake, or perhaps, a warning. For decades, science textbooks had described the solar system's edge as a soft gradient where solar winds dissolve into interstellar space. Voyager 2's data shattered that assumption. Instead of turbulence and chaos, it found precision and symmetry. The Sun's magnetic field aligned nearly perfectly with the interstellar field beyond it. Two immense forces, instead of clashing, appeared to meet in deliberate order. A design, not an accident. But the strangest discovery wasn't in the plasma or magnetic data. It was hidden in the probe's carrier wave. A subtle modulation appeared, mathematically ordered, echoing intervals eerily similar to the structure of humanity's own interstellar message sent in 1974. Not a copy, but a mirror, recursive and familiar, as if Voyager had been scanned the instant it crossed into deep space. Some now suspect it was not a reply at all, but a trigger, an automated alert, flagging the moment a civilization broke free from its home star's domain. This raises a disturbing thought. Perhaps the boundary around our solar system isn't just a natural barrier. Perhaps it is being monitored. Not by machines or beings, but by a field, a presence, that reacts when crossed. Theories quickly spread through unofficial circles. Some researchers dubbed it the mirror effect. According to this view, the structured modulation Voyager carried back wasn't communication but reflection, a system designed to echo back patterns of any intelligence that touches it. Like sonar in a cosmic ocean. The terrifying implication wasn't what it revealed, but what it withheld. A mirror doesn't invent. It only shows. And maybe, what it saw in us was too familiar. As Voyager 2 drifted farther, correlations emerged. Its trajectory aligned with regions of space that produce mysterious fast radio bursts, short, powerful signals of unknown origin. Could these bursts mark nodes of a vast detection network scattered across the galaxy? If so, Voyager may not have simply left our solar system. It may have crossed into a corridor under surveillance. One that doesn't announce itself until it is disturbed. Some physicists go further, proposing that Voyager didn't just encounter a spatial boundary but a cognitive one, a filter designed to gauge intent, to separate civilizations by the level of their awareness. To cross too early may trigger a safeguard. To cross unprepared may mark a species as not yet ready to be acknowledged. For nearly 50 years, Voyager 2 was celebrated as a silent messenger of humanity, carrying music, language, and culture into the void. We imagined it drifting unobserved until, one day, someone far away might find it. But what if something already has? When the signal first faded, relief swept through some corners of the scientific community. If the anomaly had ended, then perhaps it could be explained away, a glitch in the instruments, interference from cosmic radiation, or just the final dying breaths of a machine too old to trust. The mystery, they thought, had passed. But silence is never simple. Silence carries weight. It holds questions that don't disappear but deepen with time. Days turned into weeks. Weeks into months. Voyager 2 pressed onward, its tiny transmitter still sending whispers across the unimaginable gulf. And in those whispers, something strange lingered. Subtle irregularities appeared, barely measurable, almost dismissible. Slight shifts in the timing of its signals. Tiny echoes embedded in the background noise. To the untrained eye, they were meaningless. But to those who studied every fraction of its transmissions, the realization was chilling. Voyager 2 was not alone. Patterns emerged, pulses in the background that seemed to align with the probe's own output. Not random static, not interference. Synchronization. Resonance. It was as though somewhere in the abyss, a second source was listening, then responding, not with words, but with rhythm. The probe had become part of a dialogue, though humanity was not the one speaking. Some researchers began to whisper about what they called the Watcher field. A hidden lattice, spread invisibly across the interstellar void. Not made of matter as we know it, but of energy, geometry, frequency, woven into the very structure of space itself. It was not an invention of any known civilization. It was older. Older than planets, older than stars. A system that waits in silence, activating only when something crosses into its domain. Voyager 2, in its fragile persistence, had triggered the alarm. And then, another anomaly. One that changed everything. Voyager's instruments detected a pull. Subtle, steady, yet undeniable. Not the chaotic tug of distant stars. Not the gravitational whisper of a nearby object. This was precise. Controlled. It was as if the probe had slipped into a current, an invisible channel, guiding it forward, directing it deeper. The implications were staggering. The boundary beyond the heliosphere, long thought to be the chaotic edge of our star's protective bubble, might not be a boundary at all. It might be a gate. Not a wall, but a corridor. A pathway designed not to keep travelers out, but to lead them in. And if that were true, then Voyager 2 had ceased to be a free traveler. It had become a passenger. As the weeks dragged on, fragments of its transmissions grew stranger. Buried in the static were harmonics, frequencies nested within frequencies, structures that seemed less like random noise and more like architecture. A rhythm too deliberate to dismiss. An order beyond human design. The data hinted at something terrifying. Voyager was no longer transmitting only its own voice. Something else was speaking through it. We had always believed Voyager was our message to the stars, a golden record of who we were, drifting into eternity. But what if the reverse is true? What if Voyager is now carrying a message back to us? Because the universe has shifted. It has blinked awake. And the silence that follows may not last forever. Already, a debate rages in the shadows of the scientific community. Was the probe merely intercepted by a natural phenomenon, some unknown property of interstellar space? Or has it been caught by something built, something designed to monitor civilizations as they emerge from the safety of their stars? If the latter is true, Then Voyager has rung a bell humanity cannot unring. A signal has been sent. A door has opened. And we do not know who, or what, stands on the other side. For now, Voyager 2 drifts onward, a lonely emissary turned unintentional beacon. Its tiny heartbeat of data continues, faint but insistent. Yet with each passing day, more researchers grow convinced of one inescapable truth. We are no longer just observers of the cosmos. We have been observed. And somewhere beyond the black horizon, something old, patient, and watchful is listening.